Everybody loves a good showdown. So, at the time of recording at any rate, don't know when I'll get this video out because it's not that current a movie anymore. Well, it's kind of current. Time moves too fast now. But my partner Liz and I watched The Harder They Fall on Netflix. This is a highly stylized Western story of revenge, gunslinging, and just a lot of bad people. And it's a lot of fun. It is a good time. It is very, very stylized in terms of its presentation, the way it handles the action, the way the characters interact. It's not trying to be realistic. It's not trying to be, grounded. It's there to be ridiculous and fun and over the top, and yes, also violent. So it's not that kind of over the top that makes it fun for all ages, but it is really, really fun, and the cast is phenomenal in this. If I were to pick out a single standout, which is not easy, I think I'd have to go with Regina King because Regina King. But Lakeith Stanfield is fantastic. Idris Elba, of course. Delroy Lindo, so good. Jonathan Majors, everybody's good in this. And I really like the gimmick of it, beyond the visual stylings. And the gimmick of it is that while the events being shown are not true at all of the people are. All of these people, all of these non-white people were real people in the West around this time doing these kinds of things. Most of them did not know each other, but there was the Rufus Buck gang, there was the Nat Love gang, the Marshall Reeves, real guy. All these people were real people, but they're being put into this imagined scenario that will have them all clash together. So I like that idea as well. That just, and here's the thing. Normally, I can be kind of iffy about taking real life people from history and dropping them into situations that that wasn't reality. But the thing is, this movie is presented in a way and is very clear from the very beginning. This is not reality. These were real kick-ass people, but we're telling a nonsense story. And it makes it super clear. So for me, that takes the curse off it in many, many, many ways. My problem is usually with movies that present it as if here's what really happened, and it's not. I mean, it's kind of why I give a half pass to something like The Greatest Showman, which is so stylized and over the top, that's not what it was really like. I still kind of wish they made an original character and had it be P.T. Barnum-esque, but I've had that conversation, did a video on that a while back. Anyways, I like this approach, and everybody's here to play. I would say the movie's probably about 10, 15 minutes longer than it needs to be. I'd say just because some bits are just drawn out a little bit more than is necessary. There are some bits that are drawn out that it totally works. Like the whole thing of breaking out Idris Elba's character, Rufus Buck, breaking him out from his being transported to a different prison. That is drawn out, that whole thing. The breakout specifically, the boarding the train, all of it. But it's drawn out in a way that is just really enjoyable. There's some other stuff. Honestly, it's mostly the romantic stuff between Nat Love and Mary Fields. And that's where I'm going to register my one really big complaint about this. So here's the thing. I said I love the gimmick that these were real people, but it's a nonsense scenario. And I do love that gimmick. But while I think, given the way that it's presented, there's a lot of leeway to be granted in terms of the narrative and the plot and the life story that you're giving them, you should be showing them being good at the things they were actually good at. And by and large, they do. Like the sharpshooter was in the, quick draw person, that was their actual skills. But I also think you should not cast a million miles away from what they actually looked like. And you might be thinking, well, did they whitewash or did they like change somebody's ethnicity? Technically, no, but here's what they did. And I need to make this very clear. This is not the actress's fault. So they cast Zazie Beetz as Mary Fields. Now, this is not the movie's fault, but Mary Fields is about the only one of these people that I knew anything about in advance. Not a ton, to be fair, but I knew enough to know that this was a bit off. Because Mary Fields, Stagecoach Mary, was 6 feet tall, broadly built, and very dark. Zazie Beetz is slender and petite and very light-skinned. Especially knowing that that kind of build, and especially women that dark, don't get highlighted roles. But like, honestly, in terms of look and build, Leslie Jones would have made a heck of a lot more sense. I'm not sure she could have pulled off the part. I haven't seen her do anything more dramatic. But in terms of look, that would have been appropriate. Zazie Beetz is too far off in too many areas. And even that, I might have let it go if they hadn't saddled her with the worst plot stuff. Because her relationship with Nat Love is boring. Like, the love element's the most boring thing. I would chuck it wholesale out of the story. And she gets frickin' damseled. Now, that's not a killing blow to the movie because there's other really awesome female characters in this who aren't being damseled, and she herself does get a chance to be badass, particularly towards the end, but it really just sat wrong with me that they altered her look and build that much and then made her a kidnapped damsel as far as the plot was concerned. I feel like most of these characters who are made to look as badass as, because I looked into most of them after watching the movie, because the movie made me want to learn more about these people. That's to the movie's credit. And, you know, having looked into these and remembering what was in the movie, most of these people felt like they were being represented as, if not slightly more, badass than they were in real life. Mary Fields, they freaking nerfed. And that's not right. But if you don't have this foreknowledge going in, you might not care. I might be the only one who, well, no, I suspect I'm not the only one who cares. But other people, if they know it all, it might not bother them as much as it bothered me. And honestly, as a white person, maybe it's not my place to be bothered by that. I honestly don't know. I'm not bringing it up because it's like on a checklist of woke things I'm supposed to object to. I'm bringing it up because it genuinely threw me off and it felt like it didn't quite fit. Both as a casting and as just the use of the character in the narrative, even if they had cast her more true to how the woman actually looked. I don't know. It's something that impacted my ability to join the movie, so I'm bringing it up. But like I said, it's worth seeing. It's a lot of fun. It is high energy. It is raucous. It is wonderfully enticing characters. And if you're anything like me, it will make you want to look these people up. And that's worth doing too, because damn, these people are cool. Start with Mary Fields. Find out what a freaking badass she was. Do her right, because the movie kind of didn't. I did spend way too much time talking about that relative to talking about everything else, especially considering I like the movie. Oh well, that will about wrap it up for this one. Have you seen The Harder They Fall? What'd you think about it? Whatever your thoughts are, drop something down in the comments. Let's talk about it. Like, share, subscribe. I got a Patreon. That's how I pay my bills, and I'm able to afford things like Netflix, also food, and things like that. Any amount you're able to support me helps, but if you can't, don't sweat it. Like, share, subscribe, help me out. Those are free, but even if you can't do that, don't worry about it. We take a relaxed attitude around here, so you can just come on back next time you need a break. Hey, if you're sticking around through the credits, might as well hear some names read out. My Patreon helps support this, and in particular, I want to thank Raven McBain, Bookworm, MJ, Tracy Scrabbit, Vincent Paul Bartolucci, Kaylin Schwartz, Edalyn, Robin Moore, Ross Schultz, Shayla Gourlay. Want to hear me mispronounce your name? check out the rewards on the Patreon.